Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Breaking down Bucks live Saturday, November 18th. Bucks versus Mavs in Milwaukee. Good to be back. Mavs come in at 9-3. Bucks come in with a 3-game win streak. And no Chris tonight. What'd y'all think?
Best win of the year.
By far. I agree. Sure. Another slow start, but very happy with the result.
Ajax with another start.
Yeah. How many minutes did he play?
Not a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he got in the second half, right?
No.
Pat, again, late.
It felt like Pat played the whole game.
Yeah, a lot of minutes. I will say I'm an advocate for AJ Green getting some more minutes. I've seen great things from him shooting wise. And one thing that I hate about Pat is when he gets that kick out from Giannis, I'm not certain that ball's going in the hoop. And with AJ Green out there, I think that's the name, right? AJ Green, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He is lights out from deep. I mean, when he catches that ball and he's got a wide open three, I'm almost guaranteed that ball's going in.
Yeah, I really like the way he shoots it too. I'm a fan of him getting more minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, the return of Jason Kidd. A lot of familiar faces on the sideline, right? Jared Dudley and Coach Sweeney.
I saw that.
Right? Y'all remember Coach Sweeney?
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's I noticed their starting lineup is just Luka and Kyrie, and then a bunch of lunch pail guys, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I mentioned last night how Luka right away. Did you see that in the first? All they do is try to get him buckets right there in the first. I think he had 12 in like the first 6 minutes. But I know. I mean, he had what 30, 32 or something like that, and Kyrie had 39. So still struggling guarding the stars from the other team.
I mean, that whole team's Luka and Kyrie. They average like 55 of the team's points.
Yeah, and then Hardaway had 16, and then it was just a bunch of single digits.
Yeah.
So they surround those two with Derrick Jones Jr., who's just a dunker, really, right?
Yeah.
And then they got Williams. I like Williams from Boston, right?
He's nice. Yeah, he's very his game has changed a lot since he started. I think he's really adapted a great 3-point shot too over the years. So he's a good player.
And then who's in that fifth spot? I don't even know who that is.
I didn't even pay attention.
It's their center. It's that one dude.
The one dude.
He might be out of Texas.
Jim, 0 buckets.
Yeah, 0 buckets. Rebounds only.
I wrote down here that Luka could be the new slow-mo. He's kind of just seems like he's in slow motion and uses his body to get a little bit of space and then wet piece.
He's so much bigger than you think. He's so much bigger than you think.
And wider.
Strong. Yeah, he's strong. He's got a big body.
And way less athletic than you would think.
Yeah, for sure. But he still gets it. He still makes it work, though.
Yeah, the last couple minutes of the first quarter, they had Cam and Dame in at the same time. What do you guys think about that lineup? You think that would work?
Augie mentioned something about that.
Yeah, I think I noticed that he was getting more minutes. And last 2 games in a row now, they've had him on the court together. So I think they're liking what they see out of Cam. He's making the right plays. He's not shooting too much when he's just passing when he needs to.
Right. He's had a couple games where he's been finding a shot. When he hasn't been able to find a shot, he just shuts it down and doesn't force anything. It's kind of just back and forth in the first quarter. The Mavs led by 1, 34-33 after 1. In the second, they put your boy AJ Green in. They referred to him as Dairy Bird. What do you guys think of that name? Not Larry Bird, but Dairy Bird because he plays in the Dairy State.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Y'all feeling that,
like
Andy? Drew?
No, not even a little bit. That might be worse than Ajax. It just gets worse as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Get Marcus back in the booth, please.
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus was in the booth, and he chimed in on that nickname. They were debating 2 nicknames. I forget what they were talking about the other one, but both of them were really bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's one point in the game where your boy Ajax got on the fast break, caught it, and kind of threw a wild pass to Pat Kahn for a three. I don't know if you guys remember that play, but that's winning basketball.
I think he had back-to-back assists.
Right.
Right off of that playmaking. But then he didn't play the rest of the game.
Right.
Yep.
And I think a lot of his winning plays, there's not really a stat for it, right? It's like just flying around.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about the role players, but how about Giannis? I mean, we talked about yesterday his low. I think he has single digits in all categories, and tonight, oh my gosh, 40 something, and I think he had like almost 70 total points, rebounds, and assists.
He had 40 and 14. And the thing is, I wrote down here that Grant Williams plays him pretty well.
He does.
Yeah, all those Boston games.
Right. It's a familiar matchup for both of them.
And truthfully, honestly, looking at the schedule, this was like a scheduled loss if you want to think about it. A tough Dallas team off a back-to-back, and they were on a 2-game rest. So, I mean, that should have been a scheduled loss for Milwaukee, but we persevered and got the dub, which is awesome.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
No Chris.
Yeah, with no Chris.
No Chris, too. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but kind of Grant.
I don't think Coach Griff believes in scheduled losses, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in his vocabulary.
Yeah. I like that. I like hearing that.
Yeah.
But if you follow the NBA so long, you know that those back-to-backs are
in an 82-game season.
Especially when you're traveling.
Yeah.
We didn't sit anybody.
Yeah.
Chris, we sat Chris.
He will be like that probably the whole season, though. If we're being honest, we'll be resting. Next.
Z, before we move on, I just wanted to mention this while we're on Chris' topic. So he doesn't do back-to-backs, okay? So both Nick's dad and my dad mentioned, old dads. He deserves a pay cut if he's not playing all the games. How do you guys feel about that?
That's an old school boomer way of thinking, I think.
I know, exactly. But
yeah.
If it was anybody other than Chris, I would agree with that. But I'm big on incentives for winning. I think that the more we win, the more money they should get for sure. So like as far as like deeper playoff runs, like I'm huge on players getting bigger bonuses for that. But cutting the regular season money off of games played, no.
Also, we're at the point where regular season doesn't really matter.
Yeah, for sure.
For the most part. I mean, we got make it through, be on the top 4 seeds and be healthy when you go into the playoffs. Yeah, so at half it was 58-60, Bucks up. Enter the third quarter though. Dallas went on a 9-0 run to start the second half. Giannis had to go to the bench with a bad call.
Yeah. I think one kind of interesting thing about Dallas is they're like bottom three in points in the paint per game, and they allow the third most. So that's a big point differential on the paint that they're losing. However, they're first in 3 points made a game. So I mean, that just shows you want to live and die by the 3. In that third quarter, towards the end there was a little run that we were trading back and forth buckets, but they just kept hitting 3s while we were getting 2s. So they took that little lead towards the end of that third quarter, and it's just one of those scenarios, classic scenario where 3s are more points than 2s.
Yep. And on the other side of that too, though, you could see we were just eating up in the paint with Brooke and all that. I mean, Brooke and Giannis were just feasting tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Kyrie got on one there in the third quarter. After 3, they led 98-89. So they had a 9 point lead going in the fourth. But the Bucks started to scratch back, right? Campaign gave us good minutes again.
Yep, he had a couple big 3s to keep us in it, and then we got our run.
Right. Giannis subbed out with like 6 minutes left in the game.
I will say Adrian played that right. At the perfect time, he subbed out Giannis just for like a minute to let Dame set into Dame time, Right. And then Giannis I think Giannis almost pulled his own trigger and just said, I'm going back in 1 minute, and just ran to the bench or ran to the scores table.
There was a series there where Luka got to the line, missed 2 free throws. Giannis got the rebound, got fouled, made his 2 free throws. So I think that was like, okay, things are looking good at this point.
Yep.
And those 2 free throws by Giannis actually gave us the lead.
One thing that's different about Milwaukee this year is our half-court offense is actually good. Like, we're not relying on our run and gun in Milwaukee and having Giannis just get the ball and go down the middle of paint, running block to block. Like, I think we only had 11 fast break points tonight, and we still scored 30-some points.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I mean, not having like fast break, I'd always prefer getting running and gunning with Giannis on the court and having Dame. Like, fast break points will always win with that, but having a half court offense to rely on when you need it, especially in the playoffs, that's huge. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the blueprint, for me at least, is like get stops, get the ball to Giannis on fast break scenarios because he's arguably the best fast break player of all time.
Yeah.
And then in your half court sets, it needs to go through Dame first, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, Bud tried to do that with Drew. It's just Drew offensively ain't what Dame is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's no critique to Dame or to Drew. Dame's just unreal and he's just ridiculous. So
yeah. So great to see Giannis put up the performance he did and then Dame come through the way that he did. I think it was kind of the first time this year that we've seen both of those guys kind of be able to close out a game for us and go win a game for us. And I think that's what everybody's been waiting to see, right? Is those are the guys that have to go win us games, and they went and did it tonight.
Absolutely.
They earn their paycheck tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, just on script, Luka loses his mind on the refs. Seems like it happens every game. I cannot stand the relationship he has with refs and watching.
Biggest crybaby.
Mm-hmm.
You know who will give him a run for his money though is Brooke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he complains a lot too.
Brooke.
Ogre. At one point, Pat hit a clutch three in the corner. One of those scenarios where he didn't bring the ball down at all, kind of.
Yep. Catches it right in the pocket. Mm-hmm.
Connie's corner, if you will. I believe they're calling it now.
Yep. All these nicknames.
Down the tubes.
We got to run every nickname by Drew first before we.
Just assume it's bad. Just assume it's bad before they even say it. And then,
yep. Maybe we'll have to have a segment going forward of Drew's nickname critiques.
Right.
It's all of them up to this point.
Yeah.
Right. And Giannis with the mid-range for the dagger, really give him 40 points and really sealed the game for us.
Look like Kobe there, huh?
I don't know about that, but
Kobe-ish.
Fiserv seemed loud at the end,
that's
right?
where he's learning the move. Yeah, that's true too. The crowd was into it. Gruber, he's always standing in his suit.
Lots of positive nights. Are there anything to take away from the game tonight that we need to adjust or something you didn't like to see?
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say Beasley did not look good.
He took the assignment of guarding Luka. Luka didn't have much problem getting Beasley on his hip and hitting that mid range.
Right. He did
moving like a turtle, just swerving, going where he wants.
My thing about Brook Lopez, I love Brook Lopez. One of the best spread big man fives. He can spread the court well, which is huge to have in the game, and as well as defending around the rim. But his defense on pick and rolls is the hardest thing to watch. He's too slow to get up, and he has to give the guard so much space that it always creates almost a guaranteed bucket when he's on a pick and roll. So I don't know how Griffin's going to disguise him in those, but Budenholzer was awful. It showed last year, or not last year, whatever year was we were in the finals. Budenholzer struggled against Chris Paul and Devin Booker on those high screen rolls with Brook Lopez involved. So we got to get him disguised better on those for sure.
I don't know that there is this guy. I think you just got to go to him playing in the drop.
Yeah, hit him with more wings or something. I don't know, but I'm ball screens with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez terrified me for sure.
Yep. How'd you guys feel about the zone against a team like this?
You didn't see it much.
Well, when we did see it in that third, that's when they got hot.
Right.
Which I don't even think we should bring it out against teams like this.
How many possessions were we in it? I thought we got it maybe 3 possessions.
Well, we got in and got out of it because they scored every time they were in it.
Right.
And I hate going against zone against guards who can just get their spots. Like they got Kyrie, Luka. They're going to get their spots against mans. When you go zone, they're going to get their spots against mismatches, a guaranteed mismatch. You're going to have spots where it's not the guy you want on the ball or the guy or the guy you don't want on Luka or Kyrie. So I mean, going zone against those type of guys, no, thank you.
I wasn't surprised that we saw it because that's been our best defense this year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just more so giving more help and making the other guys take the shot versus and making sure those guys are not getting to their spots. So it's harder to get to your spots when you're seeing like 2 or 3 guys versus just seeing a zone where you can see the spot before you get there, or you know where the spots are at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Giannis, big hug with Coach Sweeney after the game. Lots of hours they put together at the old practice facility in St. Francis at the monastery.
Yeah.
You ever visit that facility, Drew?
I've been there quite a few times. I'm very familiar with the inner workings.
Right, it's just hard to believe.
It was not an NBA practice facility,
right?
The way you would imagine an NBA practice facility would be.
Correct. that is an understatement. It's hard to believe how far we've come.
It is very hard.
That's the day of Herb Cole. I mean, we literally have. I mean, the practice facility and the new arena have transformed downtown.
Yeah, there were clergy sleeping in that building
while practice is going practicing. On. While Luke Ridenour is pulling up, smoking blunts
coming off the parking lot. Yeah, that was wild times, dude. Those were the Scott Skiles days, man.
Yeah.
Scott Skiles did not like anybody being in his practice facility at all, ever, for any reason, even if you were supposed to be there.
Including players?
Oh, players he was fine with.
But no media, no.
Definitely not any like lowbrow media. Lowbrow media were so beneath him.
Are you lowbrow media, or were you?
I was at the time. I was the gum on the bottom of his shoe, dude. He could not stand any of us.
And do you have a personal relationship with Bob Brainerd?
I don't have a personal relationship with Bob Brainerd. Are you putting Bob Brainerd in that bottom of the barrel?
I thought you had a recording incident with Mr. Brainerd.
That doesn't mean I have a personal relationship with him. Also, that was at a Brewer game. That was
okay.
That's a story for another day.
All right. Well, Bucks moved to 9-4, 4 wins in a row, playing probably their best ball of the year. Luka had 35-9, Kyrie 34-6, Giannis had 40-14, Dame 27-12. Your boy Pat Kahn had 16 as well. Bucks play next on Monday night at Wizards, 6 p.m. We'll be back here doing a live and breaking down Bucks. That's all I got for tonight. Deuces.
The Bucks.
See ya.